So the stuff you did for the three T's, was that
Times three.
times three?
Times
Sorry,
three.
times three.
Mhm.
They were signed to Solo, or were they signed to Big West? Or
They were actually signed to Big West, but they were signed to I think we did that project under Columbia or Sony.
okay,
They were signed to Sony. So
okay.
what it was because I got the history years later from Big West. And it's interesting how all of this correlates to kind of like how we are. Um, when Dick Griffey went there and when black uh men started becoming entrepreneurs and becoming, label heads and starting labels, they used to get pressed by white goons, gangsters.
Wow.
And so they had pulled up on Dick Griffey one time, and Dick had heard about Big West, this strong guy on Venice Beach that was picking up 600, bench pressing 600 pounds, like nothing. And he went and got him, and West put together a team. And that's what kind of like where this thing comes from the industry that people don't know about having a goon squad.
Wow.
It doesn't come from us. It comes from the white guys saying you can't have a label and do business in this town, or your artists get hot and they come and say, I'm taking your artists, I'm taking your royalties. And they
Ah,
would bring gangsters in somebody's office with baseball bats and smash these small boutique labels. And so that's where that energy comes from. Because anytime you're getting money, I just tell people that. You don't think you're a gangster and you don't think you got to deal with gangsters. Just get rich in America and see what happens. The sharks are coming.
wow.
You know, you could have gotten your money, obtained your money the most legal ways, but if the streets know and somebody gets wind of it, I mean, Clarence Avon's wife got, murdered in Beverly Hills. Like it can happen. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Condolences to the Avon family continually. Clarence Avon is somebody who's very influential. He gave me a choice when I came home because I took demo tapes to him early on too. We just used to hit labels. I just wasn't afraid, to go and really like, I want to do this thing, and if you were my friend, you was going to help me, do it. And so anybody who had any type of insight, I would just gravitate to. And there was a lot of things going on during the time. All in the Same Game was happening with Michael Concepcion. Um, and so that's how he ended up being my manager because, I saw what he was doing and he heard me and he was like, man, you should be. He told me, he gave me access. All I wanted was a studio. He had a studio. That's all I was looking for. You got a studio? Okay, cool. I want to come use it. And, he was like, listening to what I was doing. He liked it. He was getting into the music. And he just was, man, you need to make music like Teddy Riley. I'm like, what? Like, why would I try to be like, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't make sense to me. But when I ended up in Virginia Beach,
No, no, before you get there though, because you're from the West Coast, and Dre, NWA and Quick, and those guys are making music. So why um and the
Quick wasn't necessarily owned then. I don't think I
okay,
know. Oh, you know what? Well, yeah, because we got in the music business kind of like around the same time.
okay.
Because we rub shoulders a lot.
Yeah,
Um,
but then if the West Coast was you know, coming up, especially with after NWA and Ice Cube moves out and stuff, why what kind of music were you doing? Was it that G Funk you were doing?
I didn't, you know what, honestly, I didn't like it.
Oh,
It wasn't, it wasn't intentional. It wasn't musical enough for me. It was dope. I liked it as a listener, but I never really tried to recreate that until I got to Death Row.
but what were you doing then? What type of music were you doing?
More like a New Jack Swing
Okay.
without knowing it,
Oh,
just listening and following, what I was hearing. And see, here's the thing. When I was in camp and we got to the grad dorm, there's a thing called the grad dorm where you get these extra privileges. And, there's a group of guys who's going home. So you get, you got TV, you got all these access, you come and go as you please type deal, and a friend of mine, he connected with the chaplain. And so he convinced the chaplain to let him bring a keyboard in and a drum machine. She took to us. And man, she really cared about us. And we convinced, them to let us he convinced them to bring a keyboard and a drum machine. His father was involved in guy David Brooks. His father was involved with music, and he wanted his son to do music. So he had bought all these things before he had got locked up. And so they allowed us to bring in the camp. So when people would be at the yard, I would be making tracks. I was already little Teddy when I was 17. You know what I mean? Like, in a sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm hearing it, and I'm learning how to, create sounds, drum sounds, just learning, just studying. I mean, it's like my whole existence was I have to be able to do this music. But that's how early it started. And at 17, so when I came home, it was like I had all this material that I had wrote, and I wasn't going to stop doing it because it kept me out of trouble while I was locked up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it gave me privileges because it separated me from everybody else. I go to a piano and just start playing, and it's like, people saw the talent.
Yeah.
And there was people who were saying, you could be something, you could do something. And so I always had this thing that maybe, it's almost like I feel it isn't fair, in some situations, where even like friends of mine, they always say, well, you had a son and you had music. And I'm like, no, I just took what I had and I just knew I wanted to be something. But I applied myself. Like, I didn't just get this. Like, I didn't go to sleep. I would go to bed in the morning. I'd be up all night playing music.
Wow.
And listening and studying the music and watching musicians. And anywhere there was musicians or any live music, I'm just going to stop. I still do that to this day. If musicians are playing somewhere, I cannot pass them by without taking a minute to absorb what they're doing. I saw a group of Korean women in a drum circle yesterday, and it was just like amazing.
Wow. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that category.
And somewhere in between us, or even loving us, on which I didn't miss you with.
What was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple pieces.
Trying to get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No. Okay, you're okay.
They don't understand what Jonas boys are winning all spirits.
Play it.
These guys, they all work together.
I mean, I love all different genres.